Here at Summerfield this year. I try not to embarrass the guy. I'm going to try to embarrass him a little bit. So in addition to being a 4.0 student, Elliot Behling is a handsome gentleman. He's a team captain of both the tennis team and the soccer team. Elliot was accepted, congratulations by the way, to his first choice college, Claremont McKenna. Very exciting.
Right next door to Dawn. It's like
1,500 feet from Dawn's place. He's extraordinarily passionate about the violin. If you had the opportunity to see Elliot perform, it's breathtaking. You're going to have the opportunity to have your breath taken, I think, in just a moment here. I've seen Elliot speak a couple of times, and he's a powerful young man. He's got a lot to look forward in the world. And so without further ado, I'd like to have you all join me in welcoming my dear friend, Elliot Behling. Thank you, Jefferson.
I would like to start. This is just something that came up when I was listening to the Beards talk up there about their son, Elliot. And for me, this is just an unbelievable moment of just full circle. You've probably noticed that I'm not 45 years old, so I'm not the Elliot from their family. I'm the Elliot from this family right here, who I am so grateful for. But yeah, it was just like this pure serendipity. And then, of course, like they already have said half the things that I'm going to say in this speech. Because, it's louder? Louder? How's this? Okay. It's a testament to... Louder still? Is that better? Okay. I can do louder. Summerfield's definitely taught me that. But yeah, it's incredible to be here. I would like to start by sharing with you guys a quote. Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited to all that we now know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand. So that is quoted from the great Einstein. And upon reading that, I found it just very recently, and I really realized that idea is the driving force behind so many of the various philosophies that exist at Summerfield. And then I thought of this moment in a college interview that I had a few weeks before. And in this moment, the person who was interviewing me asked me, why on earth does my school do so much art? Caught me completely off guard. Like, how on earth would they know that? It was totally out of the blue. And so I thought about it for a minute. And I said to them, anyone who has ever changed the world first had to imagine a way that it could be different. And that imagination comes from art. So now I'd like to talk a bit about concerns that people might have about this school, just in case there's any of you here that are on the edge. But you guys seem to be pretty supportive of this entire endeavor. That's probably why you're here anyway. But I'm going to talk about it anyway. This is to keep you guys all here. Let's put it that way. So one of the most common concerns that I hear about this school is that the students that emerge from the school would be different somehow. And this difference might not enable them to succeed in the real world out there, and outside of this very isolated bubble of Summerfield. And I would like to begin by saying that we are different. We are exceptions. There's no doubt about that. If you spend any time in a Summerfield classroom, you'll get that idea very, very quickly. But these differences, they're one of our greatest gifts. We are not taught to fit into the world of today. If I was to spend all of my time trying to understand everything that is already known up until this point, the only way that I could happen upon progress would be by accident. Instead, we are taught to live into the future with intention and imagination. And through this is how we are able to create positive change. We are able to say, how can tomorrow be different than today? And it is because of those differences that we are enabled to be able to have this unique perspective. This is how Summerfield has educated me. And on a foundation of this education, I would like to say that to debunk another common concern about Summerfield, I feel completely prepared going into college. I cannot tell you how many times I have heard that one. I feel completely prepared for whatever comes my way, not only in academics and knowledge, but also in creativity and imagination to actually make use of that knowledge once I am beyond college, in, again, the real world, as they say. And hopefully once I am beyond college, to take this knowledge and use this imagination to better the world. Now, you might ask, where does this inspiration to better the world come from? And of course, it comes partly from within. It's within all of us. But Summerfield is a place that unlocks and allows this desire to make the world a better place. And just allows it to flourish. It's remarkable. And this again comes from allowing us to express our creativity. For when you are with a group of people all expressing your creativity, you realize, and this actually goes back to something that the Beards were saying, you realize the uniqueness of each person. And this inspires you to, rather than being competitive with the people around you, to be competitive with yourself. To say, how can I do better than I am doing now? Not how can I do better than my neighbor? This is intrinsic motivation. And it is the secret to a life of education. For the students at Summerfield, at least, well, I can only speak for myself, but I believe that this is reflected among all of the students. I do not plan in stopping my education after here. As you know, I'm going off to Claremont McKenna, but even after Claremont McKenna, I do not plan on stopping my education there. It will be a lifetime of educating myself, and this is because of my intrinsic motivation. Even if I know everything that there is about a field, I will continue to learn about it because I have this desire to learn about it, not just to know more than everybody else. There is... louder still? Okay. There is another result to the realization that we are all unique. And that is, and this might sound a little bit weird at first, but I'll explain it. That is empathy. Because upon realizing that we are all unique, and upon letting go of the idea that we need to compete with each other, and instead embracing the idea that we need to be constantly reflecting on ourselves, this allows me to treat all of my fellow students as peers rather than competition. And I would just like to say that this empathy is reflected unbelievably strongly and completely supported by the entire community of Summerfield, both teachers and parents and everyone. It's incredible, and it's another incredible gift of this school. Now, the result of all of this, the result of this education, is intrinsically motivated students with a desire to create positive change inspired by their empathy, with a creative imagination that is supported by a rich understanding of the world. Now, to me, that is what education should be about, and that is what this school embodies. I've been here for a decade, and while it seems to be all that I've ever known, it is but a quarter of this school's incredibly rich history, and none of this would have been possible for me without the vision and the generosity and the tenacity of those who preceded me, especially the Beards and all of the parents who initially founded this incredible place. So, out of respect to all of you out there who made this possible for me, I would like to now ask everyone else here to make this opportunity possible for those to come. So, thank you. It's been an honor to share my experience with you. And now I will turn you back to Jefferson.
So, as Elliot so eloquently alluded to, we've buttered you up now. We're going to ask you for some money. Thank you for the warm handoff.
Good job.
We've had this this opportunity to talk about the past and the